Hey YouTube, Enjoy Boy here. So, chapter 857 of One Piece has dropped. So if you haven't checked out that chapter yet, I suggest that you do so because I will be spoiling you. But now that you have, let's begin. Seriously, the life of a weekly One Piece follower is so intense. So you're reading One Piece, right? You really care how the story is going to progress. You actually put time and thought into how the sequence of events are going to happen. And then Oda does everything in his power to ensure that you have absolutely no fucking idea what's going to happen. Now, you have the Whole Cake Island arc, right? The impossible arc. We're going up against a Yonko. There's 8 Straw Hats versus the entire Big Mom Pirates. There is no way that they can win by themselves. They need some sort of ally. And then on who's gonna be their ally? Well, could be the Vinsmoke. No, the Vinsmoke are pretty bad. It could be Capone Beige. No, Capone Beige is pretty bad. Could be the Big Mom Pirates themselves. No, the Big Mom Pirates are pretty bad. Well, we gotta choose. And as of this chapter, it appears that the Straw Hats have chosen Beige. But you know, Oda's not going to leave us with a good taste in our mouth, right? He's not going to make this like a feel-good story of alliances like the Straw Hats and the Beige Pirates together going to thwart Big Mom. No, he leaves us with a very sour taste, with the expectation that this is probably not going to go very well. So even if Beige ends up in some way helping the Straw Hats overcome the Big Mom Pirates, he still looks to be an enemy. But anyway guys, theory hype. I actually got a theory semi-correct. It's not really correct because it happened the wrong direction, but still the outcome was the same, which is that I think I did a video a couple of weeks ago where it was called Capone Unexpected Allies, and at the end of that video I talked about Capone potentially allying with the Straw Hats. Also in that video, as well as in the first reaction to the chapter, and what everyone was thinking was that Capone or his pirates was responsible for taking out Bobbin, and that was the case in this chapter as well. And guys, I think it's time again to bring up a very old theory. Now, I think that this theory is now proven to be correct, but I am so confused. And you'll understand why I'm confused when I talk about it. But there was a very old theory, it's also very popular, I loved it, which is that Jinbei rescued Peckham's after he got shot. And then my potential speculation of that, which I included in my Whole Cake Island mega theory, or whatever I called it back in the day, which needs an update for sure, but I still believe in mostly, is that Jinbei having Peckham's knowledge would then give that knowledge to the Straw Hats, and then the Straw Hats would then take on Beige. That was my initial speculation. And so far as of this chapter, it seems like the majority of that has happened, where confirmed now that Jinbei's pirates did actually save Peckham's. Jinbei does seem to have obtained knowledge from Peckham's, specifically about Capone's motivations and plans during the Tea Party, and the fact that he tried to recruit Peckham's, and then now is giving that information to the Straw Hats, but rather than prompt them to, in a way, take care of him, it seems like it's first going to prompt them to form some kind of alliance, now that they know that their objectives are similar-ish to Capone's. And so guys, this is all fine and good. My real question is where is Peckham's now? Now, Jinbei talks about how Capone was able to obtain the rank of Rook, and that he is in control of all the defense, etc. during the Tea Party event, okay? And so, Jinbei is now aware that Capone has plans against Big Mom. My question is Big Mom aware that Capone has plans against her? However, Jinbei seems to see some sort of fruit in an alliance between the Capone Pirates and the Straw Hats. So this kind of suggests that whatever Capone's plans are, Big Mom shouldn't be aware of, otherwise Jinbei wouldn't be relying on Capone to be of any help whatsoever. Like, he talks about Capone's finely laid plans, etc. And so if, you know, Capone has laid these finely laid plans, then I would assume that Jinbei seems confident that Big Mom isn't about to unravel those plans. So if Big Mom isn't aware of Capone's plans, but Jinbei is, that suggests that Peckham's told Jinbei, but not the Big Mom Pirates, which might suggest that right now Peckham's is in the care of the fisherman, or maybe he's just been completely passed out since, you know, getting shot, other than like speaking a few lines to whoever saved Peckham's, whoever that might have been, Aladdin or whoever. But anyway guys, I've sort of broken my flow here, so we're going to go back to chapter page by page, look for things that I found interesting or discussion worthy, and talk about them. And the first thing that I want to talk about is, although Sanji is ready to come back into the crew once, you know, his family is saved and Zeph's life is protected, etc., all those things, it doesn't seem as though Nami specifically, and maybe the other strats, have really forgiven him yet. And so I talked about this in my stream recently, and also pinned this particular comment in my Luffy versus Zoro video, but I do think it's important to note is what will be the reaction that the other Straw Hats back in Wano will have to Sanji's betrayal of Luffy. Specifically, Zoro said if anyone ever betrayed you again, or, you know, questioned your rank as captain or whatever, and you let them come back into the crew, then I would leave the crew. And that is essentially what Sanji has done. We also have these very ominous lines between Zoro and Luffy in the Zou arc, basically Zoro opposing Luffy going after Sanji in the first place. So, and you know, it really feels like the general speculation that there might be conflict between Zoro and Luffy soon might have some backing. I do think we should seriously consider that Sanji's betrayal may have more impact than may meet the eye. And so guys, you see this line a lot during the Whole Cake Island arc and some of the chapters that preceded the Whole Cake Island arc, but I feel like pointing it out here in chapter 857, which it appears that Jinbei basically says this: even though we don't necessarily have to take out Big Mom herself, there's always this lingering just mention of the possibility that the Straw Hats may leave Whole Cake Island without having defeated Big Mom. And it just is so curious to me for this to be the case, especially with pretty much having to absolutely need to beat her in order to guarantee the safety of Zeph. So I just wonder why Oda continuously brings up this line. Is this meant to distract us from the truth that Big Mom will get defeated, or will this become truth at some point in the future? And so guys, let's take a moment and talk about another confirmed speculation. And this is one of the few times in the Whole Cake Island arc, I think it's the second time, where a speculation was actually confirmed to be true, and I was 100% against it. And this particular idea was that there will be guests at the tea party. I wasn't a big fan, but as of this chapter, it is confirmed. Now, it isn't confirmed to be anything crazy, like some of the speculations people had out there, like Buggy and other people like Blackbeard, although for those people maybe those speculations are still possible in some way or another. But the actual invitees to the tea party seem to be members of the underworld. And I'm like, guys, I'm so excited to meet members of the underworld. Like, they were teased in the Punk Hazard arc. I was left wondering when exactly we're going to meet some of them or any of them, and this seems to be our first real opportunity. And that's, you know, it seems thrust upon us at this point in time, but still, in just a few chapters, it seems we're about to get a whole lot of goodies. And so based on Capone's history, specifically history against the underworld, it seems incredibly likely that Capone at some point will target some of these leaders of the underworld. It just makes sense to me given his history. But that will be left to be seen. It seems like his first priority would be Big Mom, so to move past Big Mom and go on to the leaders of the underworld that are present at the tea party would suggest that Big Mom has already been, quote-unquote, taken care of. I know I'm kind of jumping around randomly, but this is just how my brain is working right now at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so, we also got further confirmation of just how much Vito likes the Vinsmoke, and so Capone plans on going against the Big Mom Pirates. The Big Mom Pirates are planning on going against the Vinsmoke. I think it is incredibly unlikely for Capone not have tried to reach out to the Vinsmoke to tell them of what's going to happen, specifically Vito, given how much Vito seems to care about the Vinsmoke. It just doesn't make sense to me. Guys, I'm really feeling that Big Mom, very shortly in the wedding, will actually get very close to being defeated. Like, the Vinsmoke are aware. Capone is there. Big Mom doesn't seem to be aware of Capone's plans. Capone unleashes his entire army from inside of him. The Germa army is there as well. He takes out his Kyra, like, sea stone spear, stabs Big Mom with it, you know, draining her powers. All the children get, you know, ambushed or whatever, and it might end up being a complete massacre of the Big Mom Pirates. I honestly think that that is a very reasonable speculation. And so guys, the last thing that I want to talk about today is I think this chapter gave us a great example of what Jinbei's future role on the crew really will be. Like, if you really think about it, we haven't really had a scene like this occur before where, you know, a Straw Hat member has convinced the Straw Hats to do something that seems potentially counterintuitive, and, you know, ally with an enemy but for the greater good. Like, some of these things have happened in the past sort of randomly by chance, but this relationship was forced. It was a relationship that was built by Jinbei. Jinbei made these plans, he made it happen, and I just feel like Oda right here is telling us what Jinbei's true worth to the Straw Hat crew really is. But anyway guys, that's all I really want to talk about today. Let me know if there's anything else from the chapter that you noticed that you thought was interesting that I didn't talk about. Mention it in the comments, tell me what you thought about the chapter, share your thoughts, like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video, subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content, and as always guys, have a wonderful day.